Present.
Okay, Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, approval of the agenda. And we do have an addition of Clark on behalf of the Romeo Park Task Force.
So we add that under new business?
Yes.
D?
Yes. So if someone wants to make the motion,
I'll make the motion.
Support.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approval of minutes. Do we need to do them separately?
Let's, because there's some discussion on each, and I'm sorry, who seconded the agenda? Was that Lee?
Megan?
Poznansky.
Thank you.
Yep.
Andrea, generally we do, just in case somebody has corrections, then you can correct it in that motion of that line.
So
of-
each one?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. So we'll do the first.
but you don't have to, but that's just generally.
Nope, that works for me. So the first one would be the June 5th informational meeting agenda.
We have
So-
to make an adjustment on that one. On number 6, it says support by Kellogg to adjourn. I don't know who supported on the informational one.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it looks like on this one, there was some, that being one of the issues, and I have no access to this to know what was on there. So I don't know who supported that.
It should be on video, though. We should be able to,
Yeah, we can go back on the mid.
I can certainly go back and put that together, but
Yeah.
I don't have that.
yeah, no, not on hand.
And then I don't know, the next page in our packet, I don't know what that goes to. I don't know if that was supposed to be part of the June 5th, or if that goes to something else, but there's,
Okay, I thought I was the only one who only got one page a minute.
yeah.
That's kind,
So.
mine starts on 11,
Miller
new,
updated.
yeah. So we're just missing something.
Well, it looks like then we're missing all of June 5th's regular meeting minutes.
I have it.
Okay, I don't.
And actually, I don't have the June
It wasn't
29th.
in the paper, I printed it.
Oh, I do have
Oh.
June 29th.
Well, I would suggest that you hold off on approving something that we don't have, and we just
Mhm.
approve them.
Wait till next.
Yeah.
Okay. So do we have to, I guess we can approve the informational ones.
Mhm.
So is there a motion to approve the informational
Well,
meeting?
do you have to correct this?
Yeah.
With the correction? So do we have to wait until it's corrected?
I think we have to wait till it's
Okay.
corrected.
So we'll wait on that one.
Well, you could make a motion to approve them with the correction of removing Kellogg and, or table it. That's your, it's your,
I say let's just table these first two, the June 5th one, and figure out what we're missing
What was
here.
said.
And I think that's just my,
I agree. So that way we're 100% accurate before we approve it. Okay, so we're tabling A and B, and then C would be the special meeting minutes.
Special meeting minutes, I handed to you guys separately just now.
So is there a motion to approve the special meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the special meeting minutes. I second it.
All in favor?
I,
Okay. Motion passes.
John, do you collect these then?
Do you
No?
need these back?
Do you need these back, or these?
I do not.
Okay,
That's the special meeting, the open meeting we had.
okay.
Okay, so next item is public forum. If there's anyone that would like to speak on any topics? Okay, moving on to financial report.
Okay.
So I reviewed the year-end summary, and I had a few questions. I contacted Plant Moran, and everything was resolved that way. I reviewed the bank statement for May, which was included in the board packet. In May, the bank statement shows 3 checks not accounted for. I could not review the check register to see who they are to or how much they are for because I don't have access to the register yet. I will review the check register as soon as I can and as soon as I have the credentials to QuickBooks. I would like to volunteer to manage the day-to-day bookkeeping for the DDA, for the entry of deposits and writing of checks. In full disclosure, in December and January, I'll be working from Atlanta, but we'll fly back for board meetings and other significant events. But otherwise, I will review invoices, schedule to get them paid in QuickBooks. They will be stored digitally in QuickBooks and on the DDA drive, if that's acceptable. I will also save the physical receipts in the DDA office. I'm not sure exactly where I'm supposed to do that, but we can figure that out. If any complex event occurs, I will consult with or hand it over to Plant Moran for recording and any necessary action. But having reviewed this plan with Plant Moran, it seems like there's no good reason to pay a third party to execute on simple day-to-day tasks. And if the members of the board are okay with it, I would like to make a motion to stop using the DDA bookkeeper effective immediately, and I'll do the day-to-day bookkeeping, which will save us about $40,000 over the next 4 years.
Who's the check signers then?
Myself and Danielle.
Okay.
So when we met with Plant Moran, that's one of the accountabilities. One person handles entering them, and then
No,
2 other
I'm
people
fine.
sign.
I just want to make sure, yeah, it was
Yep.
separate.
And if you could just let everybody know your qualifications in doing this and
Sure.
accepting this responsibility so that it's not just
Yeah,
a
yeah,
board.
no problem. I've been doing the QuickBooks for my own company on and off for 15 years. And I took a course in accounting, 1, 2, and 3, back in college. And I don't have any problem with it. And like I said, if anything complex comes up, of course, I would contact Plant Moran and make sure that I know what to do with it. But it's very straightforward. I mean, deposits and
Yeah.
checks, you know.
Okay.
What, can I ask, currently we use a bookkeeper. What is this costing us?
$10,000 a year.
It's approximately. It depends each month. Each month's a little bit different, but that's kind of where we were ending up at.
Those savings would happen beginning immediately? Is that what we're saying?
Well, I mean, accumulatively, month by month.
I would suggest we give it a little bit. Again, John might have the history as well, but, when 2 years ago, roughly, we had, some of the bookkeeping done by, I don't know, anyway, there was a significant amount of work that was done putting things back in shape and back in order. I'd want to give that some consideration. I would be no for that vote if there's a vote on doing that, and just because I think we need a little bit of time, and let's let it settle in, get to know these a bit more. And I'm not questioning, Deborah's credentials at all, but it's a bookkeeping for the DDA being done by a DDA board member. It seems a little counterintuitive that doesn't work in that industry day in and day out. So that's just my opinion.
So this wouldn't eliminate Plant Moran,
I understand.
correct? Yeah.
Correct.
So, well, we have a motion. So is there a second for the
Well,
motion?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
There was an official, you made a motion?
Yes, I have a motion.
Second?
I would support it.
Okay, so
Who's that, I'm sorry?
Megan.
Second.
Poznansky.
Thank you.
Okay, so do we need to take a roll call?
Yes.
I would.
Okay.
I only want to make one more comment
Sure.
regarding what you had mentioned as far as bookkeeping duties taking place by a board member. I will mention, she is the treasurer, so it's not
Right.
just a random board member.
No,
just wanna
I get
make sure.
that.
Okay.
I get
I mean,
that.
what else are the treasurer's duties, I guess, would be what the question I would have on, but that's just my
Yeah.
comment I wanted to make.
Yep.
So,
So motion is second. Any other discussion?
so the Motion would be to move bookkeeping duties and responsibilities from our current bookkeeper to Deborah McLeod, our treasurer.
Correct.
Tar,
No.
Lee,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
Hutnick,
Yes.
Poznanski,
Yes.
Saint Laurent.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be reasonable that she'd abstain from voting on that, or herself doing it?
Who, me?
That's up to
Yeah.
Oh,
her.
I don't have a problem with that. I can
Right.
abstain.
Yeah.
Are you going to be taking payment for the job, Deborah?
No.
Then there's no need to abstain. You're
Yeah.
not going to benefit in any way. But you could, I suppose, if you'd like.
Okay, and Rose is a yes. Motion passes 6-1.
Okay. And
That was
then
it for
we
me. For the,
have, approval of bills for payment.
these bills, I don't have any receipts for. I
Yeah.
have no idea. I mean, are they here somewhere? Because I looked through the packet, I didn't see anything.
Well, the problem I have is that the report given has a transaction list which is cut off and doesn't have any totals on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody was successful in capturing the
No.
complete sheet.
I would feel comfortable in approving the amount that Plant Moran has on their cover page, as that work was done under them and signed with their employee's name to it.
The 1,160.50.
Correct.
And I would feel, I mean, what I can see on here are names that we're normally paying, so along that same line, I would be comfortable with that,
That they have reviewed and approved.
that
these.
they've reviewed it and approved it.
All right.
Okay, so is that a motion?
Sure, I will make a motion to approve our bills in the amount of $1,160.50.
I'll second.
Take it.
Motion, Poznanski.
Yeah. Second by Lee.
Thank you. Okay, ready for a roll?
Yep.
Tar,
Sure. Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
Hutnick,
Yes.
Poznanski,
Yes.
Saint Laurent,
Yes.
Rose, yes. Pass 7-0.
Thank you. All right, next is funding requests. Nope. All right. So committee reports. First is the employment subcommittee. So the employment subcommittee has not met recently. So my first question is, the committee is myself, Deborah, and Greg. Is everyone on the committee satisfied with staying on the committee?
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, good.
So then, I think that we need to have a meeting. So I'd like to make a motion. I tried to make it easy for you, John. To have the employee subcommittee meet in the next 30 days to create job description for executive director, grant writer, and an office administrator, so that we are able to present per our legal counsel's suggestion for approval.
What was the third? Executive Director, Grant Writer, and,
Office administrator.
thank you. Oh,
So that would be, have a meeting before August 10th.
So we can prepare, bring it to the board for approval, and then bring it to attorneys for final approval. So,
So will we be constructing those descriptions at that subcommittee meeting? Okay.
correct, yep. All right, so motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
I am just not fast.
So motion, second by Lee, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. The next item is our pillar subcommittees. So before we get into those, I just wanted to make note that, Due to being 7 people on the board, our committees are comprised of 3 to 4 people. We have one committee that has 4 people, so we want to assure that we're not meeting in quorum or not following any Open Meetings Act. So the Economic Vitality Committee, which has 4 people, Deborah agreed to go off of that committee and onto the Promotions Committee to keep the committees under quorum. So if everyone is okay with that, we can make that change. And then committee reports. So organizational committee,
We don't have anything from the last meeting.
promotions committee, I have a few things. So one of the things was, we had talked a bit about the music in the downtown area. So Paulson's is willing to come out and do an assessment of the downtown area and tell us what we need to be able to get a sound system in the CBD. It wouldn't be over $150 for them to come out and prepare that, and then from there we'd be able to go to RFP. So I'd like to make a motion for the board to approve $150 to allow for Paulson's to conduct a streetscape review and provide parameters for the new sound system for the CBD.
I second it.
Thank you.
Good job.
So motion, second, any discussion?
So they're gonna be figuring out like acoustically or?
Yeah, what would we need? They're gonna look at our system we have now, which is probably not doable, but be able to tell us what we would need to be able to have a sound system in the CBD.
Okay.
What is the purpose of the sound system, the goal of it?
What is the what?
Purpose or the goal? for the
To
sound-
music, mainly, be able to play music downtown, different holidays. Can also use it as just an announcement system as well.
Like if you have a parade or something like that, you'd
Yep.
use it for them?
The system we had was, it was in the police station and you'd literally just play music. Now, obviously, they're a lot more advanced than that.
Yep.
So motion, second. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Or should we have to roll call since it's money?
I guess we should
Okay.
probably just
go
do
on.
roll call.
Yeah, let's do a roll call, Jen. Yeah,
Tar?
he's gonna do a roll call.
Yeah,
Lee,
Yes.
I think so.
McLeod,
Yes.
Hutnick,
Yes.
Poznanski,
Yes.
Saint Laurent,
Yes.
Rose, yes. Pass 7-0.
Also, the promotions committee, 2 more. We have discussed the marketing, which we budgeted for this year. So I would like to proceed with an RFP for a marketing program for the DDA to include search engine optimization, website maintenance, monthly blog on the website, social media management with 48 posts per month, and then brand creation and management as well. Not to exceed the budgeted amount of $20,000.
I'd like to ask a question.
Sure. Well, I think we have to have a second first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll second the motion. And I'd like to ask a question.
Go for it.
Would we be using the marketing company to advertise open spaces out to Michigan and, a couple of neighboring states looking for retail and stuff like that? Or is that,
Yeah, we
a separate
can.
thing.
So this would be marketing the Village of Romeo in however we decide to market at that point in time. So we could run ad campaigns for Come to Romeo, we could run campaigns for Bring a Business to Romeo, however we want to use the
Okay.
campaigns.
okay. And so like they would do MailChimp or something for us to send out feelers to realtors
Yeah,
and stuff? Okay.
Facebook ads, posts, that sort of thing. And then they would also do all of our SEO and website maintenance.
Okay.
Will this be more than one social media platform or just a single platform?
Multiple,
Okay.
yep,
And is this $20,000 yearly, annually?
annually.
Okay. And in the RFP, are you going to put it out for 1 year? Are you going to give it a multi-year? How would you want to?
I would do 1 year unless the board thinks we should do multiple year.
If we do a contract for multiple years and then we don't like the company that we chose, is that a problem? Should we try them for a year and then if we like them, do
Depends
like
on how you build that contract.
Oh, you have an out clause?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, maybe if there's an out clause for performance, then maybe do 2 years or
Like
something?
a 2-year agreement?
The, where is this reflected in the budget?
Under marketing, there's a line item for $20,000.
So, okay. So that, this is for that entire line item?
Correct. Yep.
Could I suggest in the RFP, I would ask for a quote for 1 year and then another quote for 2, so that way you get both options, and you could also choose whichever one that you end up wanting.
Okay, that works. Okay, so we have a motion to proceed to RFP for marketing program for the DDA to include SEO, blog on website, website maintenance, social media management with 4 to 8 posts per month, brand creation and management, not to exceed $20,000 per year at a 1-year and a 2-year quote.
And currently, these tasks are being done how?
Currently, our website is being maintained, so that is already in that amount. And then it's the board, the executive director was doing some Facebook posts, but the other items weren't being done.
So, without getting, are we at discussion on this?
Yeah.
Too far ahead here, based on our last meeting we had, I think there's been some agreement, we won't be looking for an executive director anytime soon because of finances. I guess I would just, I know we talked about a marketing budget before, but a lot's changed in the last several weeks. To get into a commitment for $20,000 for marketing, those commitments and discussions were had well before some of the other changes we've seen recently. So again, I would say this is another thing that we're, should let the system work a little bit to see how it's going without a director, and where some of these financial resources may have to go without, because that's a decent chunk of money, 20 grand.
No, it absolutely is, but I think regardless, if we have a director or not, we still need to do our jobs, and we need to market, and follow the tenets of the DDA and make things happen. I mean, this was a motion that was in place whether we have a director or not. So,
I understand that, but, one of the things that we wanted to pivot from, it was pretty clear of getting away from activities. There was a lot of discussion
oh,
about.
absolutely.
So if we're gonna be doing a lot of marketing, what are we marketing? Are we marketing activities? Are we marketing, people to come and open up a business downtown? We haven't really collectively as a board set this new direction for the next 12 months or 24 months or 36 months. We've gone under some significant change within the last couple of weeks. So I would just say that it probably makes sense to let some of these pillars meet and discuss and put this whole plan on the table before I don't think there's any rush to commit $20,000 to some vendors to do marketing when we don't know what we're gonna try to market yet.
Well, I think it's possible that you misunderstood the part about reducing the number of events that we do. I think where the focus is gonna be in the future is events that have a recurring return on investment instead of a one and done. It's a Saturday thing and then it rains on Saturday and now you have a complete blowout and you spent money for an event. Instead, it'll be like, from early November till mid-January, there'll be the holidays on Main Street, and, you spend more marketing on something that's recurring, like music in the park and things like that. So I think you still are going to be marketing. You're going to be marketing to the public. You're just going to be.
Yeah, we need to market Romeo in whatever capacity that is, whether it be Vintage Fest, concerts in the park, just a generalized Romeo, and also, like Ken said earlier, if we're gonna be marketing to bringing new businesses, so.
And current businesses that are already here, getting
Absolutely.
people to come to them.
Right,
Right.
and it is in the budget, correct?
Correct.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, this isn't us making a motion to commit $20,000. This is a motion to go out for RFP, to get a quote, to then make a decision.
Yes.
Which will take us a month or two.
Absolutely.
So in that time, we could be working on the things that Greg is talking about.
For sure.
And when we receive these bids, You make sure you put in your RFP, that option to accept and reject all bids on any grounds. And we could choose at that point, we aren't
What we
ready.
wanna do. Yeah, no, absolutely. This is just getting the ball rolling towards the pillars doing what they are put in place to do.
And we have actually been meeting. We've had design meetings and
Yeah, we've had
promotion meetings
promotions
and all that
meetings
stuff,
and-
so.
But
hasn't
that,
been
again,
on
that was
hold.
all done prior to, you know, our week or two ago meeting where, you know, we headed in a different course, so I just,
But the focus hasn't changed. The goals of the DDA hasn't changed.
oh, okay, well, that's, I thought that was kind of the purpose of making the changes that were made, that the goals and focus was going to change. I'm more grant writing and more,
Yeah, but what are we writing grants for?
I don't know, that
Oh.
was sort of,
Yeah, it would be for bringing in funds to promote the DDA, to promote businesses, to be able to do the things that the pillars have in place.
okay.
Infrastructure, maintenance.
So, okay, we have a motion and a second to go out to RFP. Does that have to be to vote, or is there any other discussion?
I would vote on it.
Okay.
Can I have
Yeah,
a copy
of
for me?
course, yeah. So is that roll call, or? Let's do roll, Jen.
Either way.
Is it roll call when it's money?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so
Feel
too.
safer with that.
Motion by St. Laurent,
Yes.
second was who?
Deborah,
I'm
did
sorry.
you second, Deborah?
Yeah,
I think you did.
I thought you did.
Got all caught up in the discussion.
Tar,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
Hutnick,
Yes.
Poznanski,
Yes.
St. Laurent,
Yes.
Rose, yes, 7-0.
Thank you. I have one last one. I was approached by the Record newspaper to follow up on conversations that they had been in with the previous chairperson, Zach, regarding an ongoing advertising program within the Record. So, looking at their pricing, what this ad would be, it would be a quarter-page ad, alternating between whatever we wanted to post. Their suggestions were the, kind of the rack cards that show the restaurants in town, businesses in town, could be events, could be things coming up. They're very interested in working with us, and like I said, the conversations were in play. So I kind of took those over last week, from where Zach had left off. So I think it is our local newspaper. We should be placing some advertisements. So I would like to make a motion to enter into a monthly advertising print program with the Record for one monthly quarter-page ad, alternating from activity and market in the downtown, not to exceed $250 per month.
I second it.
Okay, any discussion?
What is their readership? I mean, like, what, is their readership the village?
It's mainly the village, but they do extend out a little bit. They also have an online paper
Oh.
as well, so you can subscribe online or the actual paper copy.
Okay.
I'm
So
gonna-
we just made a motion to approve $20,000 for an RFP for a marketing person, team, program to be put together, and now we want to go ahead and sign up for a newspaper before our marketing folks tell us how to market. I don't understand.
Well, the
that.
marketing wouldn't handle print advertisement. That's social media.
But they'd certainly be able to give us guidance on it.
Absolutely.
So again, I would say, if we're gonna do a marketing program, why don't we see what the experts come back and say? And I think there's a lot of people who would say that the Record has put a lot of articles out there that were leaning one particular way and has probably not been the most fair presenter of some of the things that have gone on in the village. I'm glad to talk about anybody with that, about, you know, what I feel about that. But again, I leave it up to these marketing folks that we're gonna hire, and they should certainly be able to weigh in on how they think the print would work in with, you know, this social media stuff that they're gonna do.
I just think there's a lot of people that they're not on the computer, the older generation, and they like the paper, they like it in black and white.
Andrea, we can control, we're controlling what's on there, what's being printed.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it's not the record deciding what's being printed.
No,
We're
no, no.
telling them,
It's
print
literally
this, print
an
that.
ad. So we just placed 2 ads with them, last Wednesday and then this Wednesday of a 1/4-page ad of our Vintage
Vintage
Fest
Fest.
poster.
How many subscribers
Well,
do
and
they
wouldn't
have?
they advise us on what we should put in an ad if we wanted them to? I mean, our
Yeah.
marketing company, I mean,
They-
if we wanted them to.
If we wanted them to, sure. If we could also go, once we have a marketing company and we can, you know, piggyback on what they're doing, you know, virtually as far as, marketing. Again, they approached me because they were in discussions with Zach and, with the change in the chairman, they wanted to not let the conversation fall flat. So
Is there more than one paper in Romeo?
I do not believe so.
Oh, okay.
Is this
How-
a month-to-month thing?
This would be a monthly agreement.
I
What's your
mean, so the
cir-
agreement is monthly, so if we decide next month we want to cancel this, we're,
Then we can cancel.
okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
What's the circulation?
I don't have those numbers with
I
me.
Right,
believe
so
the
here's the
outreach
thing,
is
if we're
around
gonna-
70,000.
What's that?
70,000.
I believe it's around 70,000,
70?
yes.
And it's primarily read in the village, she says?
No,
And
no, no.
online.
Well, yeah, but
But
the
I don't know
paper,
I don't know the circulation.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
sure.
70,000, you
Ray
think?
Township, Armada,
Okay.
Rochester.
Why don't we get some of that information before, and why, if we're just gonna place a week-by-week ad, why do we need to even discuss, we're not making a commitment to them, why are we trying to talk about doing a month-long or year-long $250 and I
Well,
don't-
because then we would be able to plan out a little bit better than just randomly picking each month, what do we want to advertise? So you'd have a
Yeah,
more
month at a
concise
time.
program in place.
Well, okay, I get that, but right now, we have no idea what we're gonna advertise yet, so why
Well, I
don't we
mean, I
find
think-
out the circulation
Well,
on
I mean, this is the
70,000?
motion.
I
I mean,
think we
this
would
is-
have some
yeah.
idea what we want to advertise. I don't think we'll be waiting for surprises to
I
come
would
up.
think we
I think
have
know what
our
we have
music in
coming
the
up.
park till the end of August, to at least be advertising that, and in the meantime, we would figure out, we do plan on having something in the fall.
Yeah, there'll be a fall, there'll be Christmas, there's already, in spring, we've got the Shakespeare that people are already volunteered and we have funding for. So there's not a shortage of things to advertise for Romeo.
Yeah, well, I think it would be great too, to even put in there some of the strides we make towards getting infrastructure fixed and why we're
Absolutely.
going out for grants and just kind of be more.
John, do you
visible what's
advertise in
going
the
on.
record?
No.
Do you advertise in the record?
I do,
Every week?
once a month.
You have an ad in there once a month?
I do.
My question is if we want to place an ad, whether it be concert in the park or whether it be what have you, we call and place an ad.
Yeah, that's
So I
what
guess
I'm-
sort of what Greg's asking, what are we even doing?
Well,
What are
again,
we
I
even at?
picked up on a conversation that was started before
Yeah.
I was in it. So the conversation that they were having was setting up obviously you get better pricing, the more, you know, commitment you make. I came in the conversation at the last minute of this was the agreement or the discussion that, not the agreement, the discussion that was had was doing some sort of a consistent advertising. So I'm bringing it to
I
the
didn't pick
board.
up on the better pricing part of it. I see
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you're saying right now.
You
I'm
make a
just gonna sim-
commitment and you lock in
I'm-
that price.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on
Yeah.
that,
Well, and
I'm
my
sorry.
thought would be, then
So-
this doesn't fall solely on the chair's shoulders to make this decision to spend this ad money every month. This becomes a board decision to spend the funds this way in this advertising venture.
I'm gonna just simply, I mean, my opinion would be, in the meantime, if we wanna place an ad, we place an ad. And when we get to the point where we have an actual marketing program, marketing company possibly, which is what we're gonna put out in RFP, then let's get their direction and their advice and go from there. Whether we accept their advice or not, at least we've got somebody else.
What did Zach say about the conversation? You said what'd he tell you?
I just came at the very end where I got some emails back and forth that they were discussing doing this.
So you never discussed it with Zach to see,
Just that he had spoken with them about it.
all right, but no details or anything at all?
Just that they had spoken. All right, so we have a motion. Is there a second?
I heard a second by Hutnick, did I not?
Okay, oh, that's right, I'm sorry. Okay, So then roll.
Am I allowed your page or no?
I was
The
like,
last one I got.
could you reread the motion?
Yeah, unless it changed since you
I
gave me this.
think we're good.
The motion is to enter into a monthly advertising print program with the Record to have one monthly quarter-page post alternating from activities and markets in downtown not to exceed $250 per month.
What's the price if we don't do it with that package? You said it was cheaper to do it this way.
Yeah, I don't offhand know the regular one. I think it's like 270 something.
Yeah, 275 to 295, and again, it depends on your size and what you're
Right.
putting in there,
Yeah,
but that's a good price.
Ready?
Yep.
Tar,
no.
Lee,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
Hutnick,
Yes,
Poznanski,
Yes.
Saint Laurent.
Yes.
Rose is a no. Motion passes, I guess it's 5-2.
5-2.
All right. That's all I got. So, design committee,
Okay.
you're up.
All right, so Ms. Dig approved the site for the little library, and it may have been installed today. I haven't had a chance to check back. If it's not installed today, it'll be installed the next couple of days in the location that we originally talked about at Rawls and Lafayette. And it'll be cut a little bit shorter, so it's more accessible for little kids and people in wheelchairs. And then, let's see, I put together a Christmas decor RFQ, and I guess on that, RFP, I'm sorry. Do I need to bring that here before it can be posted, or?
Well, that's also under new business.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh,
I
I'm
would
sorry,
hold
you want
that
me to
part
hold
till,
on
new-
that?
yeah, I'd hold that till new business.
Okay, no problem. And then as the design board, we discussed that we wanted to put a big focus on maintenance. Sidewalks, the brickwork, the rings around the trees, lots of things that need to be done, striping, stuff like that. And we will try to put together a list of all the things that need to be done to get rid of at least the obvious blighted areas where we've got really crumbling sidewalks and stuff like that. And so we'll start making a priority list. And if you guys have any areas that you know of that need to be added to that list, by all means, let me know, and we'll start chipping away at it.
Perfect, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, economic vitality.
We have not met since last meeting.
So, that's all of our committees. I would like to ask that the committees, if we're able to get a meeting in by August, on each pillar, so we can start coming up with 2 or 3 specifics for each pillar, to be able to bring back and talk about what our goals are, for August meeting, that would be great. All right, on to unfinished business, Vintage Fest.
Yeah, so, okay, Vintage Fest, where we are right now, it is this Saturday, from 10 to basically 10 p.m., 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. We have approval for North and South Main to be closed for vehicle traffic. 32 Mile will remain open. The car show is from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We have, now there's 42 cars, since I printed this earlier this evening, I got another one. So we have 42 cars registered. I have a few registrations over there if anyone wants one or knows of anybody. We are accepting registration until 11 a.m. on Saturday, July 15th. So you don't have to pre-register. You can come the day of and register. Will Morgan will be judging again this year. We have 5 awards that are being carved from walnut and with the Vintage Fest logo on them. They're beautiful, and they're being sponsored. So thank you to the Romeo Dairy Queen for that. The awards for the car show are going to be presented at 3 p.m. by our village president, Megan Poznanski, and Macomb County Executive Mark Hackle at the main stage. Music is from 10 to 6 at the main stage, which is at North Main and Newberry. 10 to 12 is Ed and Gretch. They're actually our first performers for the summer concert series this Wednesday. From 12 to 2 is Mick and Blue Lena. From 4 to 6 is the Heartbreakers. Greg Parks is going to be the stage manager again this year, and he's going to be playing music throughout the day as well. So when there's little breaks in between the live acts, he'll be playing music. Stage setup is by Romeo Gold again. The Chamber will also be having Jukebox Junkies from 7 to 9 at their building in the back. The Chamber is also having a beer tent from 12 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. The Romeo Masons are going to have hot dogs and some novelty ice cream out front. They've also offered their building as a cooling station. We will have a photo booth from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're finalizing the location for that. Kids activities, Home Depot has given us building kits. That'll be starting at 10 a.m. and we have served students that are helping to volunteer with the kids for that. We'll also have a bounce house in the Village Park that was sponsored as well from 10 to 5. Monarch Watch will also be doing presentations about monarch butterflies.
Is that at the park too?
Starkweather.
I
Oh,
believe.
Actually,
Yep.
yep.
Information booth will be staffed by volunteers at North Main and 32 by Town Hall, so people that are visiting will have access to maps and people will be manning that information booth. The Romeo Peach Queen will be popping in and out in the kids' activities and the car show, taking pictures. We will also have vintage tractors on display on South Main, so bringing some business down there. The Romeo Library mobile unit will also be out in front of PDCU. And we will have vendors in the park as well.
And a Civil War cannon.
Oh yeah, Civil War cannon will be
In the
out
park.
too. So we have had 13 individual volunteers working on this and 5 different sponsors who have stepped up, and we thank you very, very much because this was a lot to pull together. So we're very excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Everybody's excited. And they can't wait to come and do this. The car show, everyone for the car show is just so excited to be in the village and be parked on Main Street, so.
That's super. I have a little update to
Danielle, do you
that.
have an
There
idea?
was somebody that wants to display a bunch of vintage bicycles is gonna be in front of the coffee shop, right?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And also, somebody, I don't know his name, but he has the fire station. They're trying to contact him about.
Jack Frost?
Yeah, about vintage motorcycles.
Oh, cool.
So if there's room,
Yeah, there should be room, definitely. I think we have North Main full of cars, and some of those bikes, and we're already.
And the tractors.
And the tractors will be on South Main, so there's gonna be, on both ends of town, there's gonna be lots going on.
I'm so glad we're gonna have a bunch of stuff at the south end of town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. And
If someone's-
Danielle, I just wanna say, wow, well done.
Yeah, you.
Holy
killed
cow.
it.
Don't,
And
this
thanks-
was,
And thanks to all the people who
yes,
contributed.
Yeah.
this was all these volunteers, for sure.
That's wonderful.
And
Thank
then,
you.
also, we're gonna be open until 6.
Oh, cool.
We're gonna serve up, classic burgers and
Oh, fun.
hot dogs.
Okay,
We have
great.
someone selling vintage records that's gonna be there, someone with vintage clothes.
We have a
That's cool.
musician,
Oh, good. Okay.
yeah.
A lot happening, so it's a great event.
Do you have, just off the top of your head, or do you have an actual estimated number of how much has been given in donations and sponsorships?
I do not have that in front of me.
Right.
I don't have that in front of me.
It will have the whole rundown.
Yes.
Yep.
Post.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have an estimate of what so far this is costing us?
It's going to be under the budgeted 5,000.
How much, no, I won't go there. Cars, you said there's 42 cars now?
Yeah.
So this was already mentioned, I just wanted to make sure, I know we've got South Main closed, I want to make sure we fill up. Like,
Yep.
let's not have North Main full and South Main a
Right.
couple cars. So
Yep.
I'm sure you've already thought of that, I just wanted to make sure that that was mentioned. And it's South Main's gonna have the tractors, is that what I heard?
Yes,
Along with some cars.
yes, yep.
We have porta johns throughout as well,
Mhm.
so businesses will not be bombarded.
Oh, and did you get my response back about the porta johns?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if that's something you can take care of, or?
Yeah, well, yeah,
Perfect.
Great.
All right.
All right,
that's all I had.
perfect. So please spread the word about Vintage Fest. It's gonna be great this year. Also, the same day is the garden tour. At the information booth, we'll be handing out any information for upcoming events. So if anyone or any organizations know something coming up and you'd like us to hand out flyers, just get them to me, and our volunteers will be gladly to promote whatever's happening next in Romeo, to try to keep that circle of business coming through. So new business, holiday lights and greens.
So I'm new to this. I made an RFP. I have it in front of me, and I don't know what the next step is. Do I print it out and?
So I think we have to make a motion to go out for RFP.
Okay.
Based on our information that we've had here. So what do we want to do for holiday decorations? What have we done in the past? Spoke with Carl about the lights.
Yeah, so I briefly spoke with Carl about the lighting, and he is certainly willing to volunteer and set up lighting again this year. His thought was, I think we have in our budget $2,000 for lighting, which was really incidentals if we need to replace lighting or clips or zip ties, things like that. He didn't think it would be close to that 2,000. He also said he was willing to help any businesses that want to have lighting at their business, help them with how to do it, and depending on how many volunteers we can get, help them actually put the lights up as well. So if there are any businesses out there that want to do lighting, we can reach out to the DDA and we can get you in contact and handle that. So that's one piece of it, is the lights that are on the building.
That look like the trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Mhm, absolutely.
So that part can still happen.
Yeah, and he's
Um,
still willing to do that.
Yes.
Okay.
So then as far as holiday decor, what is the plan? What are you
I
putting
was
in the
gonna say,
RFP?
I can read through it real quick. There's the, formal talk about when it's doing all that. I made it, excuse me, for August 10th. I would like to have all the bids in on August 10th, and then we would open them during the meeting, the sealed bids, open them during the meeting and read them out loud. So we're talking about the poles in the central business district would include 80 poles with greens and decor in the pot. So it would be, the live fresh greens and then some ornamentation on top of it. And 3 round planters. I can't tell you exactly where they are. I have a map of where these 3 big planters are. I think one blocks people from coming in the alley next to you, Starkweather Alley.
Outside the park?
Oh, in fact, I think
Yeah.
the other ones are probably.
They should be in all the alleys.
Parker Alley and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
7 based
Yep.
on this.
So again, greens and ornamentation in those, the 4 rectangular planters in the southwest quadrant, and the 3 alleyways, the lights, the poles, flower pots, the half-moon grates at the end of those alleys would have, some kind of a spray and a ribbon. And then, Starkweather Alley, Peyton Alley, Parker Alley, and the half-moon grate at the corner of the north entrance of the southwest quadrant, Village Hall. I would have to look at the map again.
Yeah.
I'm not that familiar with all these different streets.
I believe that's Coney. There is a fan there
Oh,
at the
is
corner.
there?
There is,
Okay,
yeah. Yep.
okay. And then, 2, and I just took a stab at it because I wasn't sure. I said 2 36-inch live green wreaths for Village Hall. Do you know what size you guys normally get?
No, I would defer to the Jeroshes on what generally gets
Okay.
put up in that size.
And then, cost of maintenance for, those decorations to be maintained if lights go out or strings come down in a windstorm or whatever, just the normal, maintenance like before. And then removal and disposal of all the greens from the poles, the planters, deliver all of that to the DPW at a time determined. Decorations that will be provided by the Downtown Development Authority will be the holiday light hangers and the red bows. In speaking with several people in the village, they were saying that the lights that we have, quite a few of them are bad. Half of it lights up, half doesn't, so they were saying this is probably a good year to replace the lights, and that's very inexpensive. But not wrap the poles in the live greens because that's very expensive. And so I think that's probably good advice. We want to kind of take a layering approach each year, add some more to it and make it nicer and nicer every year. But this year, just kind of pump the brakes a little bit and just do the replacing of the lights. And I think the greens
So
and the
where
pots
would
will
the
be very
lights
pretty.
go?
They will be wrapped around the poles.
But without greens?
Without the greens, yes. And a couple of people were talking about the fact that when you wrap it with the greens, because the poles are black or green, you don't really see the greens much at
Sometimes it is
night,
hard to see
and
'em,
it
yeah.
covers over the lights anyway. And I thought, well, that's probably a good way to save money, because one of the big concerns was, are we even gonna be able to get greens this year when half of Canada burned down? And I think that's an interesting point, because even if you can get them, they'll probably be ungodly expensive. So,
That's interesting, yeah.
yeah,
The
I think
plan
that's a
was
very good point.
back in, I want to say it was in 20 when we purchased the bows. I remember being on the computer and making the motion at a meeting, was to move in a whole different scape direction of what it was we were doing. That's where the bows came in. We only purchased half the amount that we wanted, with the idea that the next year we would purchase the other half, so that
Are you
either,
talking about like ribbon?
the red bows,
Oh, gotcha.
that
You know,
either
they're like a
each
hard
pole,
bow, aren't they?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Each pole would either have two, or then we would put one on every pole. However we were doing it, we needed a whole nother amount of them. If we ordered 30, we needed 30 more. And our idea was to then, at that time, there was a Christmas decoration subcommittee of where was this going? Those curly, light up, whatever you want to call
Those
them, the
look like
snowflakes.
yeah.
They've lived their life. They've been put together with duct tape by Randy Seidel, who was here
They're now
years
part
ago.
of the new plan
Okay.
this year.
I'm like, I don't know how you'll get those to stay up at all. They've
Right.
rusted, they've
I
lived
don't
their
think
life.
they look good anymore, no.
Okay, and so the whole idea was then what was the next step of where this decor was gonna go? So I don't know if the whole Christmas, after we do whatever we want this year, if that wants to get into like whatever pillar to get going on where's
Yes.
this Christmas
What-
scape
yeah,
gonna
what's the, like,
keep heading?
five-year
And the
plan on
design
this.
pillar has been working on that, and our thoughts are, we're an old vintage village, it would be nice to have like vintage Christmas Day decor, you know,
Yeah.
kind of stuff, so clear lights, not colored lights, you know, we don't, we wanna be, setting ourselves apart from more like young cities where there's all the lights and they're all in your face. and everything.
Right.
We wanna be more vintage and.
At that time, we called it a little more of a Norman Rockwell
Yeah.
Yes,
Christmas, just
absolutely.
that kind of nostalgia to it.
Absolutely, yep, I agree with that, and, so I'm working on that to figure out how we can do it in layers for a couple of years so that we build up to something really fantastic without spending a bunch of money all in the first year.
Yeah.
Excuse me, May, a question. What was it that you mentioned we have and have been taping together and we're not using?
Those light up snowflakes
Okay,
that go
big-
off
The big giant ones, and does that include like candy canes and this type of,
No, we don't have any of that.
we don't?
I think we,
Those lights that go,
The giant snowflakes.
the brackets, yeah.
Yeah, the giant snowflakes, either they go on a pole or they get strung across alley. They're not candy canes that go on the poles? Okay.
Are those maybe old?
I'm not recalling candy canes.
Okay.
I don't remember seeing candy canes out.
They were
Yeah,
found in the
so
basement today, so.
What I was going to mention, if we decide we're not using any of that stuff, there's gotta be some sort of resale value or something. Let's do something, because it's, there's
I'd
a
like
lot
to-
of space.
I'd like to look at it and see, does it look old fashioned and vintage, or does it look?
That's
is it-
fine if we're not
is
using it. My
don't
point
know, I
was gonna
haven't
be,
seen it.
let's either use it or let's get rid of it. Because I know at DPW, there is a room chock full of this stuff that if we're deciding we're not gonna use.
How long has it
it's
been
silly.
since it's been up? Do you remember ever seeing it?
Last year,
Oh, it was.
The candy canes were up last year?
candy canes and snowflakes.
I know snowflakes for sure.
Yeah, I don't remember candy
Huh,
canes.
I guess I'll have to look at those, I don't remember that.
Okay.
Is this,
It,
go ahead.
it's not gonna go away this year anyways. It would have to take a year for us to
go through.
inventory them and try to market them if we're gonna, unless, I doubt we're just gonna dump them, so we'll have to work on that for the following year.
Okay.
So your motion, Deborah, is to put this out for RFP?
Yes, uh-huh.
So this would, the RFP would cover holiday lighting, I'm looking at the agenda, holiday lighting and greens.
Yes.
In the existing pots.
And this would be, because there's holiday, there's Christmas and time of year, and Thanksgiving time of year, and Halloween time of year. Which time of year are we talking? All of the above?
This was just for the Christmas greens and the lighting that would begin like November 10th. It's not the Halloween or
Okay.
any of that stuff.
So that's another discussion.
That's a separate one, yes.
Okay.
We were kind of rushing forward on this one because of the situation with nobody knows if you're gonna be able to get greens this year because a lot of that comes from Canada. That was brought to my attention, and I think that's a really valid point, is if we find out that there's no way to get any of that, we can make a plan B, we would still have time.
So if this is a correct statement, the committee, the design committee, talking about this, specifically Halloween, there's some ideas
Mhm.
that don't require purchasing greens, as you just said, or that wouldn't require funds, where we'd have to go out to RFP, which is why we will delay that conversation.
And I thought that with our flower, we had mums that came with that. Is that correct?
That would be, yes, that is correct.
So that will,
And in addition to those, there's some ideas for the October month.
that can, okay, perfect.
But since they don't require RFP.
We've got a
nor-
little bit of time.
Nor necessarily a lot of pre-ordering of things that are gonna be hard to get, I'm just not ready to present it yet.
Okay,
So I think we should set aside a little bit of money for confusion in the contracts of who's putting up and taking down things that occur after the taking down of the summer flowers. Going into the next would be mums, and then it would be Halloween, and then it's the Christmas stuff. Christmas stuff is on here, but the in-between stuff, I don't think necessarily has a labor contract, a labor element.
the mums, are those mums going in the pots that are hanging there?
They swap. Is that true, Sean? I can ask you that? They swap, right?
So the spring flowers come down and then there's pots that go up with,
Right, and then the spring flowers get pulled out, and then
They
they
put
get
the greens in
the
them.
winter greens.
So just a
and then those
rotation.
get
We have
swapped.
enough pots to do that?
I believe that was why Elizabeth did
It
the
was
thing
the
with
liners.
Jessica, right?
Oh.
Or whoever it is.
Yeah,
the
it was all the
liners-
liners,
Yeah,
they're
liners.
coming
Gotcha,
out.
okay,
and
so
those
the
are going
liners
out.
get pulled out of the
Yes.
pot.
Yeah.
Makes more sense, thank you.
Yep.
okay.
So I think we just need to be cognizant that that's hanging out there, that
So
wasn't.
that-
We have a line item for fall decor as well, so,
But so
Okay.
does our flower contract not contract the removal of them? It just had the product and the install?
I don't have the contract. I would like to see that. and-
Yeah.
Because I understand that there's some
Okay.
question in there,
Yeah,
so,
we need to confirm.
yeah. So where would I get that?
Bye, Greg.
bye Greg.
That would be on the director's computer, I would assume.
Oh, okay.
If not, one of our drives.
I looked
No?
on Drive, but I
No?
don't see shared files. I
Well, we have
only
a-
see my own.
There's a couple more cabinets that we're waiting for access to, so there's something might
Okay.
be in there.
Okay, good,
And we should have that by the end of the week,
okay.
so we can take a look at that.
But as far as this RFP, I would second this motion to put it out for RFP.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to go out to RFP for the holiday lights and greens.
And where will we be putting it?
That's a great question. Any advice?
The village generally utilizes the mitten.
Okay.
I would suggest contacting Clerk Trapp on that. I'm not the one that does that, so she would be able to direct you there. I do think you need a membership.
Okay,
I don't know if the DDA has one.
we can find out about that.
I don't know.
We need that to post the RFP?
I do believe so, but again, check with Clerk Trapp, because that's her
That's
wheelhouse.
world.
Okay,
You could also put it out on your website. You could put it out on your social media. But the mitten is where. Mhm.
is that where it normally is?
There, and I think there's
the mitten.
No, there's a thing you put out for state bids, for, I think they run it on that too.
Oh, yes, the state site for RFP, somebody was just telling you about that, was that
That's the
you?
most important one to have it on.
And I
Let's
don't
just
know if
check
that one's free
quick check.
or requires a membership, yeah. I would ask the clerk. And we could
The flower
post it,
one was on it.
okay. Yeah, we could look back. I don't
So
know.
yeah, I would call Catherine.
Yep.
And just, yeah. And then if we need a membership, I can see if we have one. If we don't, and we need to create one, then we can
Okay,
make that happen.
sure.
All right. Policy and procedure review. So we've talked a bit about having some structure to the DDA and policy.
I think we need to take a vote.
Oh, do we? Did we not?
We did.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, John.
Would you want a roll call on RFP for holiday?
It doesn't require money to spend to put out the RFP, do we just do it?
Let's just do roll call.
Doesn't
Okay.
matter. Tar is absent. Lee,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
Hutnick,
Yes.
Poznanski,
Yes.
St. Laurent,
Yes.
Rose, yes. Pass, now we're at 6-0.
And John, could you just make sure to note in the minutes at the time that Mr. Tar exited the meeting?
Yes.
It was
Okay.
7:58. Okay, got it.
Okay, so we talked about just policies and procedures and kind of giving a little bit of structure to the DDA. So Megan was nice enough to share with me the village council's rules and procedures. So I made a copy for everybody, and I just was hoping that everyone can take one and, not now, but at your leisure, review them, and then we can come back in August and, if there's any changes, but we can adopt something similar to this, which I think is good if we kind of take our lead from the village council, so that we've got some really clear lines about how we do things and what we can do, and a good reference point for everybody. So this is just kind of an FYI to review over the next month.
Question on that? So DDA has policies,
Some,
so this is, you want to try to replace, do you want to supplement, you want to change? What are we doing?
perhaps both. So what I'm thinking is we review this, if we're happy with what ours states, then we
Okay.
leave it alone. But there's a lot of things we don't have policy and procedure on.
So this is to help us
So this would
find
be help
those
us,
things that we
yeah,
don't
like, oh my
already
gosh, we don't have this, and then we can create a policy and procedure document.
Okay, so at the moment, just homework, marry this with our current policies and.
Yeah, what do you like?
Open for discussion.
What do you, yep, absolutely. Okay, budget amendment. So we need to make a budget amendment.
I will make a motion to amend our budget and move 5,000 from Christmas decor and move to employee.
Christmas decor. So mean.
Sorry. Your RFP might get a little more challenging, but you might have to
So-
minus some things.
And did you make the motion?
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, and then we'll do roll call
Do we need to do
or discussion.
Do we know what that will leave us in our Christmas decor?
What was it?
$15. No, it was,
15,000. So we had 20 in there, correct?
yes,
There's
correct.
20 in there, so it'll leave us 15,000.
Okay, and the green should really help with that, not during the rains.
So didn't we talk about a RFP for $20,000?
That's for marketing. I don't think
No,
we had a
for-
dollar amount on.
Oh, I thought you had a dollar amount. You didn't?
On mine?
On yours.
No, I did not.
Okay.
No, did we get a second?
Yep, we have a
Yes,
second.
I did.
All right, any discussion?
Nope.
No, all right, John?
Okay, Tar absent. Lee,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
Hutnick,
Yes.
Poznanski,
Yes.
St. Laurent,
Yes.
Rose, yes, 6-0. Pass.
All right.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Clark, you're up.
Good evening. My name is Clark Stow. I live at 380 Brook, and I'm here to talk a little bit, but I want to give thanks for giving me the opportunity to at least come here and talk to you a little bit. It's always a pleasure to get up and look at a big crowd. Anyway, my purpose was twofold. I'm chairman of the task force to look at green space within the village, and we're doing a survey, and I want to pass out that survey and hopefully get you to complete that survey tonight. Aside from that, I'm a firm believer that not only this task force, but the tree board and DDA ought to work hand in hand on things we're doing, because what you do for the inner city, so to speak, we do for the outside looking at the grass. And I'm also chairman of the tree board. We do trees both inside and outside. So I think we could work hand in hand on a lot of things. I heard you talk tonight a little bit about a grant, and we're looking at grants. We've developed some relationship with a couple of foundations. They're going to help us with this park we're looking at. But I think there's an awful lot of interaction we could help each other out a lot with. I'm here primarily to talk about the Citizen Task Force. As you probably know or may not know, we've divided the village up into 4 quadrants, and we've been looking at various areas in terms of green space on what to do with them. We've made a decision recently to just concentrate on one southwest quadrant right now to look at the Citizen Park lot on the potential to create that a park there. And we're moving forward with, like I said, we've talked to a couple of foundations. We've got some people looking at getting us some ideas on what to do in that area. I know a picture is worth 1,000 words. We're just getting going on things, but I'd like to at least pass out a couple of brief renderings here to show you what we're possibly looking at for that area. I mean, we're going to put a presentation on here the 17th to the trustees to get approval to make that a park and things. So this is kind of a pre-exposure to some of the things we're looking at. But I'd like to, if you don't mind, when you look at these are a point in time rendering. They're going to change. This is some of this is what it's going to look like in 10 years down the road. But at least it gives you an idea. Picture's worth 1,000 words, and this will give you a flavor for what we're trying to do here. And I've also like to ask my committee member, Bobby Chambers, to pass out our survey to you. If I could get you to, fill that out. There's also an email address. Go ahead. There's also an email address on there. If you have comments you want to make, we have our own email address that you can send it to.
I have not.
And aside from that, we're also looking for a couple of members. So if you know anybody that has a flavor for wanting to do something with the green spaces in the village, and wants to express some ideas and stuff, I'd appreciate it if you would let them know, and they could talk to Megan about getting a letter of intent and get on our committee, because if no matter what we do going forward, there's going to be a lot of different challenges in various areas. So we need people with various expertise. Just because you're have experience in one area, don't let that hold you back from volunteering, because we could use you and your comments and suggestions, so I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. These are very nice.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
these are
Clark, these are
beautiful.
beautiful.
Who did those?
Who painted those?
Pardon me?
Who painted them?
I have, I was in the U.S. Navy. I have a Navy friend of mine that I've known for 50-some years. He did renderings for major corporations, and he's also an artist, and he can conceptualize. I can't do that, but he can conceptualize. You know, I showed him a couple pictures of my backyard. It used to be in a couple other areas, and sent him some light posts and just expressed some ideas. And I asked him if he would be interested in getting involved, and he said he would. And I'm glad you asked, because he's bordering on, you know, having a little bit of a dementia and stuff, so he's been challenged. And so I was a little apprehensive about going to him and asking him to do something. And his wife called me up, and because he lives in Toledo, and said, Clark, this is the best thing you've ever done for him in the last 5 years, because he's starting to paint again.
Oh, good.
And
Oh,
so
he's very talented.
That's beautiful.
He's a very good artist. So, and but he's just decided to put, you know, his expertise together, and, you know, put that one color. I'm going to frame that one.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, I
But
want that in my backyard.
you know, I'd appreciate it, you know, again, like if you've got any suggestions on things,
Well, you know.
let us know.
I'd like to give you a suggestion right
appreciate it.
now. If you take those beautiful images and get those made into just, you know, a print on a foam board, and get them posted out there where the proposed
Yeah.
park is, and get them, you know, here and there
Well,
around town or
but-
whatever.
but-
Because that's beautiful, that's very inspiring. When somebody says, do you wanna volunteer and work your butt off in a park that looks like just a big open field today?
Yeah.
No, but do you wanna work on that? Well,
Right.
yeah,
And-
you know?
And I'm glad you said that, because that's the reason we're putting on this presentation on the 17th, because we don't have any funding yet. But, so
okay.
we're just at the place where we've spent about 3 or 4 months, you know, doing various things and getting ideas and things. So we're looking to, you know, put a proposal together and ask them for this so we can get going. Because I just talked to a foundation today that said, you know, come and talk to us. We've got an exorbitant amount of money. And she also said to me, because she's the executive director, a personal friend of mine, I found, I didn't know, I've known her for 20 years, and I stumbled across her. But she said it's amazing how much money is out there in various buckets, and she's going to supply me with a lot of information, so.
I also sent, I believe I sent it to Shelley. I don't know if I copied you on it. If not, I can get it to you. A bunch of grant opportunities that were about trees, literally just
Sure.
tree grants. So I know I sent it to Shelley, but I will.
Yeah,
make sure I
and
forward it
we've
over.
got that
Okay, good.
too. And speaking of Shelley, she's looking to have detritus and replace some trees on her street that got cut down years ago and never got replaced, so. You know, we've got an awful lot of places to put trees, so.
The only thing I would change on there is to make sure you put a Romeo flag.
Well,
Beautiful.
he's from the University of Michigan. We
Yeah.
both went to the University of Michigan together, but I dropped out, and my son went to Michigan State, so
Yeah,
he's got
no,
both
I
of
know.
those on there. Thank you. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Very nice.
Thank you.
All right.
Clark, would you let them know the 3 different places they could return their responses to? Where they could return their responses to?
There's an email address on the flyer. Your packet.
Oh, okay.
All right, we are down to, this is a record.
Yeah, we're rolling.
Board member comments. John,
No,
okay.
none here.
None here.
None for me?
Not much, so I won't ruin your excitement. Thank you to everybody, Danielle and everyone who's helped step up and put in time for Vintage Fest. Thank you to those who had the things laying in wait for us to pick up. We do appreciate that. And thank you guys, and good job on running your first meeting. Is it?
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. Andrea, great meeting. Very
Fast.
respectful, very nice. It was very, I'm excited to be here.
Good.
Okay? And Danielle and Andrea, thank you so much for stepping up and putting together the Village Fest.
Vintage.
Vintage Fest, just testing you. I know it was a lot of work, but you guys pulled it all together with some great volunteers, so thank you. And Deborah, thank you for stepping up for the bookkeeping.
Yeah, no problem.
You know, you are more than capable.
Thank
I have
you.
no doubt. And I don't know if this is the right time to ask this question, but a lot of people are wondering what's going to happen with the DDA office.
I
Is
can
that
speak
something
on
we wanna?
that. Yeah, so with my comments, so first I wanted to just kind of echo what everyone has said and thank Danielle for what you've done with Vintage Fest and with the volunteers. It's amazing in a short amount of time, and so I truly appreciate it. I would like to thank the volunteers who have come out in droves. We worked with like 12 or 13 volunteers in a short amount of time, which is amazing. The people who've written checks, the people who've given their time to make sure this event goes on has been just really amazing. As it's my first meeting, I do want to thank this board. As kind of Greg had said, there's been some changes, but I appreciate everyone here jumping in and making sure that things are still happening, like bills are still getting paid, events are still going on, volunteers are still being engaged, our concert series is still happening. So I really appreciate this board in picking up where we need to pick up. As far as the office, you know, our executive director has moved on, and the DDA continues on, and we still have our job to do. We still have to focus on economic viability in the downtown. We still have to focus on filling empty storefronts. Our office is the DDA office. Danielle and I were working in there this afternoon. We're still partnering with the chamber. They're still holding their TNT meetings there. So it is an open office space for the DDA and for the use of the downtown as needed. So we definitely want to partner. I know their chamber's also having their board meetings there. So it is an open and usable space.
Sean, John, and I used that space today.
Well, there you go.
It's been busy.
Yeah,
today.
it has. It's gotten a lot of activity. It's, you know, it's obviously not open, but it's open to people who need to use it. If there's any committees that need a space to meet, that's what we're there for. The board has done a fabulous job of really just jumping in and, you know, trying to be as open and those we can with the residents and with the taxpayers. So I do appreciate that. The amount of work that's been accomplished in the last month is pretty impressive. And we still continue on. So there's a lot of great things coming, a lot of really good discussions coming up that these pillars are moving forward with. So I just encourage everybody to come to our meetings, join what we're doing, ask questions, because the DDA is alive and well.
Now, to that point, can people, with the pillars, can the general public drop into pillar meetings? Can they join those subcommittees? How would they do that?
So once we have our meeting dates, if everyone can get them to me as quickly as possible for your next month's meeting, we will get them posted, and then anyone is welcome to come and to observe. And you know, I think we should probably have public comment and the ability for people to give and interject and communicate. So once we know the dates, I will get them posted. But we're always looking for volunteers and to help put these, you know, whether it's an event or a program or a project on.
And then to that point, also to clarify, everybody needs a point of contact, a phone number, an email. Where's everybody going to contact, whether it's us, whether it's a committee, whether it's find out information or ask
So
questions?
info at romeodda.org is a general mailbox for the DDA. Obviously, we all have emails, first initial, last name, at romeodda.org.
And what's the phone number now?
It's the same number.
And what is it?
I do not know.
Oh.
I think it's 1170. Yeah, 752. I think it's 1170.
And this is good information to put, you know, utilize the record, putting this information in
Yeah,
there.
and that may be an ad that we want to do coming up.
It's just-
So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for volunteers coming up. I don't want to put you on the spot, but Sharon's already volunteered to chair the Shakespeare Experience event. We've already had people volunteer to chair Christmas in the Village event. So please let us know if you'd like to be a part of any of those things. I would also like to see, and this is going much longer than comments, but I'd also like to see us starting to list those volunteer opportunities as well, so people can pick and choose what they want to get and be a part of. All right,
Good job.
adjournment, motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Perfect.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion passes.